Welcome to the Startup Support Surgery podcast, where we light the entrepreneurial spark in medics and healthcare professionals. Join me, Dr. Jo Watkins, GP, business coach and co-founder of The How People, on a journey to discover where your medical know-how meets the business world. This will help you find some clarity on how to balance work, passions and family so that you can gain more freedom and control over your life, but also continue to help people, which is actually why most of us went into medicine to start with. Embarking on this entrepreneurial adventure is not easy. It is a roller coaster of emotions, but it's hugely rewarding and exciting in the process. Drawing on my 20 years of blending medicine and business as a GP, I am here to share experiences, insights and lessons. Expect lively chats, expert interviews and real-life stories from medics who have taken their own path. Let's break free from traditional healthcare norms and explore more innovative ways of making a real difference to people's health and well-being, along with paving the way for a brighter future for us as healthcare professionals. Oh, don't miss my free PDF called From Stethoscope to Startup, which is an 11-page guide in the show notes full of practical help and advice. This is your roadmap to kickstarting your journey with us. Enjoy the show. Dr. Natasha Collins is an NHS GP partner based in Usk in South Wales. She works 6 sessions a week as a GP and has the privilege of also serving as the chair of Gwent Local Medical Committee and represents GPs across the region. She also sits on the GPC Wales Committee and wants to help shape the future of general practice across the country. Alongside her NHS work, Natasha is a qualified health coach. She's done the BSLM diploma and she's a qualified nutritionist, passionate about helping individuals create lasting transformation in their health and well-being. In this really honest, really organic discussion, Natasha talks about being a wife and proud mum to her busy children and demonstrates the fact that she understands firsthand the challenges of balancing a demanding clinical professional life, business and family life. And she brings a bit of realism and compassion to everything that she does. So Natasha is joining us today, and her random fact is that she absolutely hates flying, and she is yet to step on a plane on her own. But by the time this podcast goes out, you will have flown on your own. How does that feel?
Oh, I'm terrified, but I've got to do it. I'm going to the UK LMC conference next week in Glasgow. So it's only a very short flight. So yeah, I have to do it. I can't have my husband holding my hand for me, can I?
Well, thank you very, very much for joining us today. I'm really excited to speak to you. We've been working together for the last nearly a year now. And I would just love you to tell us a little bit about your journey. You're a very busy GP. You've got management positions and lots of other stuff going on. You're a partner and you're able to fit all of this around 3 kids and running your own business now. So can we get into maybe a little bit around, how this sort of came about, what you're doing now and how it's all sort of evolved. Can you tell us a little bit about that to start with?
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, you're completely right. I'm a GP working 6 sessions in my practice. I'm also a health coach and a qualified nutritionist. And I'm at the moment helping busy, overwhelmed women, especially those who feel as if they've tried absolutely everything to basically lose weight for the last time. And I do this by working with them in a highly personalized and natural way, helping them to make sustainable changes that fit in with their really busy lives. And then that allows them to transform and to thrive, but to do it without those restrictive diets or unrealistic exercise routines.
Amazing. And how did you get into this? How has that process happened? You've been in general practice. Talk to us a little. I know you've had a bit of a journey out and COVID was a bit of an issue for you as I think, single-handed practice. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how this all sort of happened?
Yeah, that's completely right. So I'd always wanted to be a GP. For me, it was a non-negotiable. Every project that I could do in medical school, I did it about general practice, and I won the GP prize in finals at medical school. So I was absolutely destined to be a GP, and I love being a GP, and I've always loved it. Back in 2020, I found myself as a single-handed partner busy practice in Newport, had a great team, salaried GPs, nurse practitioners, pharmacists. And then, of course, COVID hit, and it had a lot of effect on how we practice. It had a lot of effect on the staff, and one by one, and due to different family circumstances, we lost salaried GPs. And at that time, believe it or not, with what's going on now, we couldn't recruit. There were no GPs looking for jobs, and we couldn't really find locums either. So got to March 2022, and it was just really becoming unsustainable in being able to staff the practice essentially. And I decided to hand back my GP contract, which immediately lifted a massive weight off my shoulders. And with regards to kind of the lifestyle medicine thing, I got into that pretty early in my general practice career. Always been interested in nutrition, health. I've always been really sporty throughout my entire life, and found the BSLM probably back in 2020, 2021, and I attended their conference online during COVID, and then face to face in 2022. So started the work for revising for the diploma and certification. And then when I handed my contract back at that time, then I was really disillusioned with general practice. All the firefighting, the 10-minute appointments, not being able to get the time that you need with patients to really make lasting change. And the patients will come and say, I really want to lose weight. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to turn. And you just feel really inadequate as a GP when you can't spend that time with them to unpick, to make genuine suggestions, and then to follow it through. Because we know that if you just give patients the information, very, very few of them will take it up and follow it through. So then when I left the practice, I in myself, I wasn't doing that great, although nobody would have ever known. I put on weight, I wasn't eating well, I wasn't exercising, not sleeping well. And I thought something's now got to change. You've removed all this stress from work. Come on, you need to sort yourself out. And then it was like, well, where do you start? I, as a GP who had a massive interest in lifestyle medicine, did not know where to turn to try and lose weight. And so I was like, well, I've got to do something. And from previously trying to lose weight after babies and things, you just know that you can't massively restrict your calories for a long period of time, and it's not sustainable. So did a bit of Googling and found health coaching, and read about health coaching and was like, yes, this is what I need to do. So I signed up for a 12 to 18-month course. It was pretty self-paced with face-to-face stuff, online stuff, assessments and things, and did that around the locum sessions. So I created that time to do the course, and then in January 2024, then I qualified with that course, and then was like, okay, where do I start? What do I do? How do I run a business? And yeah, basically after that, spent 4 or 5 months, if I'm really honest, on my days off and evenings, basically trying to do a logo, trying to come up with a name, trying to do a website, and we call it titting about on Canva. But it literally, I didn't get anywhere. I enjoyed myself, don't get me wrong, it was good relaxation, but it was not making any progress at all with regards to developing a business and moving into what I thought I wanted to do in terms of moving into that lifestyle medicine, health coaching, clinic approach.
I love that. I think the titting about on Canva, we've got to give that to Ruth, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Dr. Ruth Machin, who is another member of the SUS community who loves titting about on Canva. And it's the way that, hey, she's good at it as well, yeah. It's the way that it can suck literally hours and hours and days of your life. And Canva is an amazing tool, but that is a very good example of how a lot of us spend our time when we first go into business. And I'd love to come back to that. But what you're describing is this this real adventure from being passionate. I love the fact that you're so passionate about doing general practice at medical school. I think that's so refreshing to talk to somebody that loves what they do. I can see why you're involved in the LMC and everything that you do. Like, it's obviously a huge part of your life, and you haven't turned your back on that. What you've done is augmented that and brought something alongside it. And this journey from the BSLM through to health coaching, adding nutrition in there. You've done a lot of courses, you've got a lot of
Yeah,
qualifications, and I see this over and over again with
yeah,
medics that I see. They're like, right, okay, what I need to do is qualify in this and qualify in that. Um, Sort of looking at that now with the eyes of somebody that's now running their own business and has built a thing, how much of that do you think is sort of proving something to yourself? How much of that is really important knowledge? Would you do anything differently around that? Talk to me a bit about that.
yeah. So my very, very first course I ever did was Ron and Chatterjee's Prescribing Lifestyle Medicine Online. And and that was brilliant for me because it was just so practically based, so case based. And I did that whilst I was still at my previous practice. With regards to the health coaching, at the time I knew nothing about health coaching, and the course was fantastic. It was expensive. It taught me a lot about the coaching process. And now, as you move forward and looking back now, there were probably other things that I could have done much quicker, potentially in terms of coaching. Um, but I think what that course enabled me to do was to really hone the practical element because there was a lot of volunteer work with
Yeah.
it. And from that volunteer work, when I finished, I actually ended up retaining two of my volunteers as paying clients right from the get-go. And I think that that's really important because at that point, I then knew that I had an idea and I was providing a product that was useful and was really helpful. And it was almost like an experiment to see what worked. So I
Yeah.
think that was really good. I did the nutritional qualification when I felt inadequate after not getting progress with the Canva and the website and things. And I
Right.
thought, well, what can I do that will be useful for my business?
Got it.
Because clearly this is not working. So let me get more knowledge. And the nutritional course again was really, really good. And it gave me different approaches. So the health coaching course gives you one approach with regards to how to lose weight. But it might not work for everybody. Everybody's so individual. And what I do is I see what works for people and fits into their lives, and that's not going to be the same for everybody.
Yeah.
So it was definitely useful, and then it definitely helped me with the perimenopausal and menopausal side of things because a lot of the women that I'm helping are approaching that period in their life, and I felt that I didn't have the knowledge around that period of time. So from that point of view, it's been useful, but I don't think now I need to do any more courses. I
Great.
think
And
I'm,
that, and you heard it here first. You don't need to do any more courses. She said it
yeah,
out loud.
I
But
did.
I love what you've said about the health coaching is something that I talk to people about, whether they're doing the health coaching course or whether they're doing one of Tom Dillon's
Mm.
coaching courses or whether they're doing a different type of coaching qualification, of which there are many out there. So please do your due diligence. When you are doing your practice hours, I think it's an amazing opportunity to actually take that step back and think, right, who are the kind of people that I want to help long term? What am I interested in? And actually going out there and just finding those people so you can practice, practice, practice. Because what you're saying really is at the end of that coaching diploma, with all of those volunteer hours that you've got under your belt, you've actually created a product while you're at it and you've had practice at delivering that. So I would really recommend that to anybody that's going through the coaching iterations. What you then did was go and you did your titting about on Canva and the website, which we're going to come to in a minute, and you recognized something wasn't working. And I suspect then you didn't think to yourself, I tell you what it is, it's about marketing and about building a business and about that learning. What it is I need to be better qualified in something. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely. And in hindsight, I had no idea
Right.
about business. There was business elements in the course, but I think being me, the scientific academic person that I am, I focus much, much more on being good at the job
Yeah.
rather than what was trying to be set up in the background.
Yeah, and this is something I hear repeatedly. If you go back to podcast number 4 or 5 with Neris Freighter, she
Yeah.
talks about this as well. And there's actually just been listening to a podcast today that I did with Rachel Morris. And essentially, whatever your product is, whether you've bought a new hairbrush, whether you've created a new type of hairbrush, whether you've got a service-based product, whether you've got a bricks and mortar product, it doesn't matter what it is that you've got. What it is, what you need to concentrate on is how you market that and how you take that into to the public domain and tell people what you've got in such a way that they understand they have a need for it. And it's not about sleazy car salesman tactics. It's about really identifying the person that needs your help and giving them information about it that makes them go, oh yeah, this is a no-brainer, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And that's what marketing is, isn't it? So somebody said it's not ER, it's PR. Like people, medics want to have the best scientific backing and the best information and be the best at whatever they do. And you generally are that already. So what you've got to work on is your PR, your marketing, your getting out there, talking to people, doing uncomfortable things, networking, building relationships, posting on social media, writing newsletters, going on podcasts. And that's what freaks people out, isn't it? Or did you wake up one morning thinking, I've got this, I know exactly what I'm doing?
No, and I think even now I still haven't got 85% of what you've just said sorted. That is now the next step. I know I've got a product. I've got regular paying clients coming through who basically are all friends of friends or recommendations from that, inner circle that you talk about. And that's been so important because again, that's, they've done ever so well. And then you see once they've done well, they then go and tell people about you and they go, look what this lady did for me. Look how she's helped me. And then you get another, oh, can you give so and so a ring? She really wants to talk to you. And that's really lovely as well.
Yeah.
But I think probably the next step maybe is to think about how to help more people because I
Yeah.
know I've got a really good service and a really good product and I want everybody to experience that really.
Fabulous. But you're a GP, you're a partner, you've got other commitments, you've got 3 busy children, very sporty that you're driving around everywhere. You
Yeah.
are building a life, a business around your life. So this term life first business, it's not a lifestyle, there's lifestyle business versus growth business. I get that. But actually, this isn't about a lifestyle. This is about fitting something into your life that works for you and missing out this period of time of trial and error of friends would be a massive mistake. To go from like creating a course, and I say to people, don't sit in your room and create something and get out and sell it. Get out in front of people, help somebody, have that case study of 1 or 2 that you've taken from where they are now to where they want to be. Talk to them, get testimonials, write it all up, have that method that you have actually worked through with somebody, and then go out and think about how you're going to scale this around your other commitments. So I think you are doing things exactly as you want to and in exactly the right way. And when you decide to scale, needs to be kind of brought into that as well around your kids, because actually sometimes people get to this point and they're like, do you know what, it isn't the right time for me to go out and throw lots of money at Facebook ads or be traveling around the country doing talks, or you've got to make it work for you, haven't you? How important, how difficult have you found that, first of all, I guess, with the kids particularly?
I think with the kids, I mean, I had that monumental shift when I left the practice. And, at that point I was working ridiculous hours. And I made the decision that once I stopped doing that, I would never go back to that. So the kids, they come first and they have to, and that's the right thing. Previously work was all encompassing. I didn't do anything else. I wasn't being that present mum that I dreamed I wanted to be, and it was really heart-wrenching. So actually, since I've locumed and since I've now moved into a new partnership, doing less sessions than I was previously, and that's freed up the time. So I've got 2 days at home every single week. I have some meetings But essentially for those 2 days and 2 days on the weekend, I can manage my children's commitments, I can manage my LMC meetings and the admin, I can manage the health coaching, and I can put clients in where they fit. And that's one benefit of having that flexibility. I know it might sound mental to some people, but one client wanted appointments at 5:30 on a Wednesday morning because that fitted in around her life and she really wanted to make changes. That's okay. That's my day off from practice. I can get up at 5:30 to do something that I absolutely love doing. It doesn't feel like a job. So yeah, with regards to the kids, they come first now, and I manage everything else around them.
Oh, wonderful. So let's go to where I can't really remember where we met or where you first sort of came into to find out. But I'm assuming during this time of titting around on Canva and fiddling with your own website, you identified that there was an issue that you needed a solution for. So how did that come about, and how have you found that process of sort of going through the program and the
Mm.
support and the community? Have you, how has that helped you? Because I think there's a lot of people out there, maybe in your position, who have done the BSLM, maybe done some coaching, who are trying to do it on their own. And sometimes I struggle to explain to people the benefits of having the support. So, how have you found that process?
Oh, well, it's been life-changing for me. Literally, so I first came across you in you were a little bit active in the Wales Lifestyle Medicine WhatsApp group. And then you were on a startup, lifestyle medicine startup day. And that was back, I looked last night, and that was back in June 2023. So that's probably, I think, the very first time I heard you speak. And I hadn't gone there specifically for you. I'd gone there because Neris Freighter was talking on that day, and she was doing what I thought I wanted to do at the time. And so I went to the day, and then following that, I started following you on Facebook. And after that, then started to attend some of your, the free sessions you were doing that were about an hour long, and they were periodically. Um, and then I don't really know then what happened between then me getting to join you, but I saw you had an offer out, which was basically your BSLM offer for last September. And the hook that got me was you'd said that there would be help with branding and logo and website. And that's what got me to get in contact with you, because at the time, that's what I thought I needed. And that's what I'd been struggling with. So that's when I arranged the call with you. And yeah, that call was, yeah, life-changing. So I said, "Hi, Joe, got a business, I've got a name, I know what my colors are, I'm just really struggling with," and you just went, "Nah." You went, "No, no, 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 no." So I told you my name of my business, and you just went, "Nope." And I was like, she knows everything. She's so clever, and she's really successful. So yeah, literally, that's why I joined the community. And that's so I started working through the online modules, which were refreshing, straight talking, common sense. And the one thing you said to me is like, don't you dare skip through to the website bit. Start at module one, start at your niche. And I was on the way with my niche.
Yeah.
It honed it, it tweaked it, and you were like, trust the process. And I got through to the modules, attended the 6 o'clock morning live sessions, and got to the website bit, and you went, I know somebody who can help you. And yeah, she did. We got the branding, we got the website, and I might be a bit biased, but I think my website is beautiful. It's just lovely, and it's sitting there, and it's waiting for people to find me, which is not necessarily the way of promoting the business, but that's what needs to come next, I think. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And you've got the groundwork there. You've got the beautiful website, and we're going to come back to that and where that came from. And now the next bit is getting out there and telling people. So it's this whole, getting clear on what you want, working out how to launch something messily, which you have done, and then getting out there and growing your brand and your business, which is where you are now. I love that story. I'm always slightly horrified because I can never quite remember what I've said to what. And I'm so sorry if you came with all of your tweaking in Canva and I told you to put it all in the virtual bin. That was mean of me, wasn't it?
Well, I'm a very straight talking person. That's what my patients and my clients always say about me. So I do appreciate the same back. And I was like, right, I've made the commitment. I'm just going to do what Joe says. And guess what? Joe was right, you know? The community though is fantastic. You know, it's so refreshing to be in that space with like-minded people who've got the same vision that you have. They've got the same dreams. They're working through at their own pace. So you've got that support. Everybody's really friendly. So that's absolutely great. You know, I've had opportunities to, you know, I've written an article for somebody's booklet that they were sending out to their clients about nutrition. So, you know, that was nice being asked to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just been brilliant. And I love it. And I'm never going to
Oh.
leave, sorry.
Well, I love you and everybody else in it. And I think you're exactly right. It's that like-minded people who understand, who are wanting to help each other. We're all about collaboration. There's no competition. There's lots of people in different niches, in similar niches, and there's that supportive network of other medics and healthcare professionals from all over the country. And we've got Sundus in Singapore. There's another lady in Singapore. You know, real life stuff that's going on and that people are doing around really good clinical positions, big families, caring roles, all of the other stuff. So thank you so much for sharing so honestly. And I think what you've shown me actually is that you're a very good example of somebody who, you know, you talked about that hook. I wasn't sure what you were going to say, but at the time, what you wanted was a logo and a website.
Yeah.
And so that language around what I offered answered your need, which was that you wanted a logo and a website. But what you actually got was what you needed, which was confidence, clarity, community, etc. So there's a saying which is give them what they want and tell them what they need. But what you also got was access to Karina, who is a wonderful human that I work with out in Canada. She's incredibly creative. She's brilliant at building websites on Squarespace. She's very reasonable. She goes above and beyond, and she will only work with people that I work with. So we work very closely together. And I think that's something that I probably need to highlight more. So thank you for sharing that. Tell me about some of the struggles we've about running a business around kids and family particularly, and then some of the great things.
I think the not so good thing, I think for me is frustration that I haven't got the amount of time that I want to dedicate to this because I know how great it could be, even greater than it is now, and it's that time factor. And you used it in one of your emails the other day, you know, progress not perfection, and that's a phrase I use all the time with my clients, and I have to be comfortable with that because I have to obviously do my practice work, ferry the kids here, there, and everywhere, sit on the side of a cricket pitch 3 days of the week most of the time. So that's the frustration, is that I want to do more and I'm having to rein myself in order to maintain the boundaries of everything else. You know, if I won the Euro Millions tomorrow, then life would look very different, and I'm sure that I would fulfill my dreams with regards to this. But it's sitting there, it's slowly growing. I've got regular clients coming in. I can't have too many clients because I haven't got that much time. But also, I'm not the type of person that says, oh, well, I've only got 5 clients, I'm going to charge you X thousands of pounds, because that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this to help people who really feel that they've really got nowhere else to turn with this. So that's the biggest frustration, basically.
Well, let's just talk about the frustration before we go on to the good things. I think you've highlighted a couple of things there. One is sometimes people get real comparisonitis, okay? Particularly I found, as much as I adore my medical group, there's a little bit of kind of, you know, can be a bit of frustration around some people who maybe don't have children, are not working full time, have a lot more time to invest in their business than those people that have got a 4-day a week GP partnership, 3 children that play county sport, inevitably you're not going to have as much time as somebody that doesn't. And that can be frustration, because the progress you make when you have more time with business, generally there's a correlation. You can spend even more time sitting about on Canva, but you can spend even more time, wasting time. Sometimes if I have a whole day, I can do very little, but if I have 1 hour, I can absolutely nail it. So, but there is this sort of, comparison that happens, and you look at influencers on social media, on Instagram, all these beautiful glossy business coaches telling you how easy it is to earn 10 grand a month by working 4 hours a week. And you think, well, how is this even possible? So be careful with what you're comparing to, okay? And what Natasha's talking about is just this working your life around your business. And it's interesting you say about the Euro Millions, because would it change things? It would, but you would not be outsourcing your children and getting someone else to sit on the sidelines. You'd be doing all of that yourself. But what it would probably alter is the way that you practice medicine, and the impact that you'd be able to have would be huge.
Yeah.
And we've got to remember that we don't want to outsource our kids. We want to be with them. They're with us for like a blink of an eye, really. So being distracted constantly by business is difficult. So we have to rein that in. So frustration's a great issue. What about the good things? And then we'll come to the advice.
So, well, the good things are that I get to do something that I really, really love, and I get to see the transformation that happens to my clients, and the satisfaction that comes from that is huge, and it just validates that you are doing the right thing and this works, and just carry on, because we've got to do something differently in medicine. We tend to practice very reactively. There is a shift coming with regards to people talking much, much more about preventative medicine. It's obvious, really, isn't it? Let's try and stop people getting poorly in the first place. But it's taken a long time to come. I've been one of those frustrated bystanders since the early 2000s, thinking, why are we not stopping people getting diabetes? Come on, and things like this. So that's the really great thing, is the absolute joy on people's faces, the tone in the WhatsApp messages which say, oh, I did this today, I've gone to a gym. These are all little wins that are huge for your clients, and you do live their journey with them, and I absolutely love that.
Wonderful. Okay, so you've got 3 tips to give somebody else that's sitting maybe in your position as you were 5 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever that looks like. What would you recommend to somebody early on in their entrepreneurial journey, or early on in their business or project? 3 bits of advice to leave us with before we say goodbye.
So the first one absolutely is, unless you have those skills, do not try and do your own logo, branding, and website. Outsource it. Find somebody who gets you and understands you and is going to make you an amazing product. That's probably my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice is progress, not perfection. That's the one. Be comfortable with what you can do with regards to your other commitments. Don't burn yourself out. Don't sacrifice your sleep and your well-being and things like that, because if you've got the backing of a really, really good product, then it will come when it organically comes. And then the third bit of advice, it's one of Joe's, I'm afraid, but it's like, stop doing so many courses, and do the courses for the right reasons. Look at what the course is going to give you and how it's going to change your practice and what you do. Don't do it because you want to make yourself feel better, because you've already got all of those skills, because you do it every single day, basically.
Yeah, brilliant. So don't, look at what it's going to give you, isn't it? Look at what it's going to give you, how's it going to add, and what are you going to do with it afterwards? So if you are going to do a coaching qualification, what is your plan? Because it's very difficult to fit this stuff into your NHS role, as we know. Even having a 5-minute conversation with a pre-diabetic about the best changes is difficult. We're just signposting. So how are you going to use this course in your personal or professional life moving forward. So fantastic bits of advice. It's been absolutely brilliant talking to you. I love spending time with you virtually, and we're going to meet up in person soon.
Yeah.
And just really proud to see you fly. And thank you for all you've said today.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. It's been amazing. Thank you.
I hope this episode has sparked some new ideas or challenged your thinking. Transitioning from medicine to business is not easy. It's about adapting our skills while embracing the unknowns of entrepreneurship. It can be nerve-wracking, but remember, you are not alone on this journey. Please feel free to reach out to me via direct message on LinkedIn or Instagram, or just shoot me an email at joe@bendylegs.com for support. And don't forget to grab the free PDF from the show notes, From Stethoscope to Startup, which is your go-to guide and resource for diving into entrepreneurship. Many thanks for tuning in. I will see you next time. Thanks for spending your precious time with me.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.